Today, this is the QUIXIS Tells All. I have been hiding many a secrets, and I have many a world-building things that I've wanted to tell you guys about for so long that now that Fable has ended and you guys know the stuff, I can tell you all of the details about all of the guys. I can talk about all the different Sherberts and Icarus's character arc and all of the above. So this stream is sent to be where I get to tell you guys everything that I want to talk about. Once again, big spoiler warning. If you haven't watched the Fable finale and you really want to, go watch that first. If you're watching the VOD right now, go watch that first, then come back here. Okay? Okay. Let's do this. Chat, I have notes on my phone that I knew I was going to be doing this stream for a really long time, and I have notes that I've been taking every time I thought of something behind the scenes that I wanted to tell you guys about. I wrote a note to make sure that I could talk about it. But I think first things first, chat, I want to talk about Icarus in the finale. Before we get into like the Sherbverse stuff, I want to talk about Icarus and Icarus's like character development. So, point A, chat. Let me put my headsets back on and figure out how I want to get into this. I think we gotta use ruins, right? I'm a ruins guy. Wait, where is ruins? Hello? How far down? Oh my goodness, that was so far down. All right. So let's talk about Icarus as a character. I have talked many a times now that I've been able to about my original inspiration for Icarus's character, and me wanting to go on 3 separate villain arcs, all of which increasing in intensity. And I was able to do that. And I've talked about this before, about how in season 1, when Icarus is corrupted, they're doing it completely unintentionally. They don't know that they're doing it, but it's still happening. And then season 2, when they lock Centros in the prison, they're doing it on accident. They're not meaning to necessarily do it that way, but it's like their nature. And then season 3 is knowingly choosing to be that bad. And that as a increase over time was really, really important to me. And something that I don't think you guys ever realized that I can talk about now is how that also applies to failure and Icarus. It increases over time. Just as Icarus's like villain arcs are increasing, they are failing unintentionally, they are failing on accident, and in season 3 they're failing on purpose because they don't want to really hurt their friends. And that's the like kicker for me. That's the kicker. Of like specifically the Rakai stream is a really good example of that, of choosing to not be good at what they're doing. Because in season 1 they're failing all over the place, right? Because they just can't do anything right, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But in season 2, when they're going to kill Centros, it doesn't work. They like were going to kill him, but he just happened to have a totem. You're failing on accident. It's 2 evolutions and they run parallel to each other, and I think that was really neat, and that was a lot of inspiration for how Icarus acts. And I just wanted to point that out, because I know I've talked about the villain arc thing, but I had never talked about failure. And that's the thing of always a failure, always a villain. They're both about Icarus. They're both run parallel to each other as a character. Thank you, Aspen Grace Live, for the 30 months of Prime! Woo! The 30 months now, I've watched Fable for pretty much the whole time. Yeah! You're making something that's such an impact on me and on all of the above. Yeah. Thank you. We joke as a cast that Icarus is Doofenshmirtz, little cartoon villain. They can't do anything right. They can't do anything right. Once a villain, always a failure. Yeah. And that's why in Icarus's ending, it is they're so okay with it. Because they know they're finally going to break out of that. And we're going to talk about the ending a whole lot. But to talk just about the finale for like a couple seconds, I hope you guys liked Icarus and Fable's little last conversation. Daniel wrote that, and if you didn't get to watch that specific section where Icarus has stabbed Fable and they get to talk before he dies, I feel that in my soul, dude. Daniel did such a good job. I'll get to the point where I start like thanking everybody on Fable, and if I do, I'll start crying and get sappy, but this is absolutely a shout out to Daniel, who did just an amazing job, like better than I could have ever imagined anybody playing Fable. And like Daniel and I talked about it, like I don't think I could be that comfortable with anybody else other than Daniel doing that and playing that character. And he did such a good job. You don't always get a happy ending, you just get life as it is. Yeah. It's Icarus's final realization. And we're gonna talk about Icarus in Denial a lot. Because Icarus in Denial is a big thing. Point A, I hope you guys like the Trident. I posted this in the canon chat, but let me pull up the Trident design right now. This was a thought that we had, because we always knew that Icarus was going to be the one to kill Fable. That was always set. But I decided, like, in one of the last finale meetings, I was like, I think I need to glitch. Like, I think I need QUIXIS to get the final kill. Like, yeah, he's mortal, and the Trident stab wound would definitely kill him, but I need QUIXIS to get that, like, oh! I need that the kill steal, yeah. Well, that's just not the right... Hold on. It was working earlier. There we go. Okay. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb. Okay. So this is the Trident. We got regular Minecraft Trident over here. This was the reference that I sent to Fruit. And I put this in the canon chat, but the bits that it is made up of are absolutely intentional. They are things that QUIXIS changes often. You get amethyst, you get the redstone, you get the crying obsidian, you get the colored glass, you get endstone. I couldn't come up with a good reason that moss would make sense as like the body of a trident, so I went with mossy cobble for the sake of my sanity, because the idea of Icarus holding a trident and the thing they're holding being made of moss just didn't that didn't check out to me physics wise. And then we got quartz and more redstone, and yeah, redstone being the tip and redstone always being the sign of bad. Yeah, all of the blocks used here are specific to things QUIXIS has changed. Oh my god, they do! Oh, I'm gonna talk about stuff that happened unintentionally, because there's another one that I did unintentionally that is insane, that I didn't do on purpose. No, I didn't do that on purpose, but you're so right. That's kind of sick, actually. You're kind of sick with it there. I love that. But this is the Trident design. Yeah, I just think it's neat. It's big, big glitch. You made me think, is it all the realms? Yeah. Is the sketch on here? Is the sketch that I did? No, I don't think it is the, like, proper sketch that I did. Oh, who's that guy? No, okay, well, we'll get to the rest. But, you definitely did it on purpose. Indeed, you were that big brain. Definitely. Yes, of course. What am I saying? Of course I'm that big brain. I'm gonna also pull up, chat, the couple of cutscenes that we had in the finale to do a big appreciation for Fruit really quick, because we absolutely got Fruit to do more. So let me show you the two cutscenes that we had going on for everybody in the finale. I took so many screenshots while I was doing this because I was getting sentimental. Like, as we were doing the lore, I was like, this is a pretty screenshot. Let me take a little screenshot of it. Here, let me turn off my music really quick so that we can hear it. But there are 2 cutscenes done by the wonderful Fruit Salad, who is the person who did Centros's death cutscene way back when, and a member of D&D party. They play the cleric in the D&D party that I tell you guys about all the time. They are an IRL friend of ours and very, very cool. And so this is the first cutscene when Athena blows up the sarcophagus, right? So I'm just gonna let it play really quick.
Emily.
Cue.
What? I'm okay. I'm not.
Everything.
He's so demented.
Will be all right. Just stay still.
I love the way Fruit makes him
What?
I think it's about time this was returned.
Common Centros slay. Common Centros slay.
Everyone, now! Focus on me. We have to act now!
Look at so I want to talk about this because I don't know if anybody else has yet. Chains, chains.
No. How did?
Okay, so this was an idea that I think was I think this was Ghosty's idea. So Ray goes and like connects all of the minds, right? And I'm pretty sure Ghosty was like, we should have all the characters' eyes show up, right? But all of the eyes are done by the content creator. So it's all the different cast members drawing their characters' eyes. It was meant to be a bunch of different art styles, each for all the characters. So there's a couple exceptions of people who asked other people to do their eyes, but all the different art styles are the people who drew them. And I think that's really cool that everybody got to contribute like their character to this little section. So a couple of them are other people doing it because they asked, but you get all of the different art styles for all the eyes, and I think it's really neat. It's just cool. It's just cool. I just think that's neat. And I don't know if anybody's talked about that yet, so I wanted to. And then, of course, we have... that's after the stab. So, hey, I edited this cutscene. I edited this one. Father! Okay, let me do a little hydrate. I will do a little hydrate for you. I talked a little about this cutscene because I edited it. The music in the background, I knew that I wanted some music motif that I'd used before, but I didn't want a song I'd ever used before. So I found a different song from the Little Nightmares OST that is like a slowed down, distorted version of the Little Nightmares riff. And that's absolutely the music used here. It is not a song that's ever been used before, but it's that same motif musically. Yeah, the file names for the 2 cutscenes are first cutscenes and Get Stabbed, Dad! So if you listen to the music, you'll get my little music motif that I eat up so much. Here you go.
We both know there was never a line to begin with, Fable.
And how would you know it? You ended your life willingly only to become a god. What a noble sacrifice becoming a god must be. I should have never thought to bring you back. You have only caused disaster wherever you go. I should have repaid your first greeting with one of my own. He will never allow us to do what we know is
Trident.
Icarus, just like Endurian,
Just like Epros and just like Connexus.
In a better world,
You would have died that day,
so that you could be reborn
on
alongside
all those you have slain.
Instead, you play God with
Mortal lives. Get stabbed, loser. Little glitchies! Daniel made such a good dying sound. That's a side note. When I asked him for these lines, I was like, I need Fable to go on a rant about something that would just piss Icarus off enough, because like the bit is him saying, oh yeah, I wasn't gonna bring Violet, I wasn't gonna bring Centros back. You suck. I hated you. No, I wasn't gonna bring you back. And Icarus is like, now hold on a minute. And then I needed him to like keep going and spiraling on that train. And Daniel was like, okay, what if the line, you should have died that day? And I was like, oh, that'll do it, Daniel. That'll do it. You saying that you should have died. Yeah, that'll do it, actually. That'll do it. This is a joke. This is me when I get you. This is me when I get you. This is me when I'm about to get you. I'm gonna get you. Okay, I'm gonna get you. This is a joke I have not stopped saying. Me when I'm going to get you. Yeah. QUIXIS changed the Trident so it's physically impossible to pull back out. Yeah. I freaking love
The world, you would have died that
day
so that you could be.
what a noble sacrifice becoming a god must be. I love Daniel's voice acting, but his real footage of when I have to edit it and I listen to it over and over again. I know all the lines. Okay, funniest thing about this scene is that when I was planning it, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure that I have to be in F5 mode because we get to use a sick Minecraft moment where you can actually see the trident like through his chest. And I was really excited when I realized that because we had the real texture. And I was like, I think I want to be in F5 mode. And I have big thoughts, chat, about this scene in particular. Because it's Minecraft, but let's say it wasn't Minecraft. What I imagined during this is Fable down, right? And then Icarus has like hand over Fable and chest here and like face buried in crook of neck in like saying all of the lines. Like Icarus can't look up at him, like face buried in crook of neck, trident in, like, and then when pull trident back, Icarus is like gonna collapse, and that's when Centros teleports and catches them. It's to hug him while killing him. Yeah, absolutely. It's a hug while killing him, and pulls out trident and is going to collapse, and that's when Centros teleports and catches them before they hit the ground. Which could not be portrayed in Minecraft, but that's what I say happened. So if you want to draw that, go for it. Hyperphantasia's wild, guys. But yeah, no, it's meant to be like a hug, but like holding the trident and holding Fable where that he can't like get out of it, and then pulling back and just gonna like fall on the ground. Because it hurt my soul. Thank you, I'm Cheese for the Prime. Opening Procreate as we speak. It hurt me, okay? It hurt me. And so many of you guys have drawn the brothers hug, which I care so much about. Also, yes, eat up the line. I flew too close to the sun and all I did was burn us all. Tasty. Tasty. Tasty line. This whole monologue is very cool. But yeah, that's what, like, when I'm in F5 mode, this is like very, very crook of neck, trident going through. And I have big feelings about that. And then he dies. And yeah, to show you that, like, specifically is when Fable, he looks up as he dies. And I think that's really neat because he starts seeing, like, here, I'm just gonna let this section play.
Burn us all.
Goodbye, Dad. Fully gonna, like, wobbling, gonna fall down. And break down again. And then gets caught. Oh, how long? This hurts me, dude. This hurts me. And I could go on like an hour-long rant talking about the music that I use in the finale for all of this. God, this conversation hurt me. But yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about like that section of the finale because I eat it up, actually. Okay. So, shall we kind of... I'm not saying you're pushing my Sherbverse agenda. Oh, I am pushing the Sherbverse agenda. I've never not pushed the Sherbverse agenda, okay? Okay? I've been here since day one. What's it called? So let's talk about this, shall we? Okay. If you guys want a funny behind the scenes, I knew that I wanted to jump down the QUIXIS hole. I knew that I wanted to jump down the QUIXIS hole. There's a fly in my room. We're okay. I knew that I wanted to jump down a QUIXIS hole. And I walk up to this hole, and I think it's my really deep one, because, you know, it's black concrete. And I'm like, oh yeah, I turned to all the black concrete, so I'm gonna fall really far. No, this was the really shallow one. And I just, like, hit the ground. I was meant to, like, trigger the cutscene while I'm falling, so I fixed it in the VOD. But in the raw version, you hear, like, when I hit the ground, and that was not... That was not how it was meant to be. I thought this was one of the deeper holes. It was the shallow one. It's fine. I'm gonna let the start of this play. I should have. Oh! One more thing. Music motifs. This song that I play during this final second. I have to go. This one. It's a Stanley Parable song. Like, oh my god, this freaking dude. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Come back here. Come back here. I'm gonna smack him. You better fucking run. You better. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna open the door to see if he leaves. One sec. He's throwing me off right now. Okay, I just opened the door. He's ruining my moment. I don't know where he went. Add the fly to the list of Sherb swears. Shut up. Oh my god, there he is! Out with you! Out with you! I need something to whack with. Hold on, side quest. Side quest. Okay. Get away from my desk. I can't swat you on my desk. Out with you! Out with you! Out! Oh, no, you're back on my desk. Out! No! I see him. He's sitting down. This is a chance. I have a chance, chat. I have a chance. Hold on. I need something with oomph. I need something with oomph. What do I have with oomph? I didn't get him. I kind of just hit my monitor, actually. He was sitting on the top of it. Okay. I'll leave him alone. I'll leave this alone. I'll move on. Okay, fine. He's just bothering me. Okay. I laughed so hard if you accidentally smashed your camera. Oh my god, he's back! Get out! It's just a really big fly, chat. It's just a really big fly. Do I go get Centros to help him? I kind of want to get Centros to help me kill this fly. Do you leave? No, get over my freaking desk. Chat, I completely derailed myself, but just let this happen. Just let this happen, okay? I hit him. He's weakened. He's weakened. Get out. I got him. I got him. For real. Thank you to whoever sewed this scarf and sent it to me. You've done a great service today. Dead as hell. Okay. Yeah, you can clip that. It's fine. I should probably turn that into some clip. Hold on, let me write that down. I have notes of all of the things I want to add to the best of 2024. QUIXIS tell all fly escapade. Okay. I just witnessed a murder. Okay, to come back on track. This song that I use when I'm basically going to die, I have only used once before. Does anybody know when? I don't know. I don't actually think if you guys would ever know this, but there is only one other time this song has ever been used. And I'll let you guys like hear it for a second because I want to know if you guys can know. I don't know if you guys will, but I have to go. Hey! You guys actually do know. That's kind of crazy. Like I should have. Is when they remembered. Yeah. This was after their memory cutscene. I mean, I can't believe you guys know that. You guys are so cool. This was when, like, post the memory cutscene after finding Haley's grave in season 2. It was this song. And I found this song a long time ago, and I was like, oh, this is for me remembering. And I used it here again. But I think it's nice. I'm gonna let this play. I remember. Yeah. A long time ago. And it's okay. It's okay. Goodbye. Icarus. QUIXIS? Is that you? You can talk? Open your eyes. I'm here. Okay, so shall we move forward? Point A. I totally rented a film studio to film here. I rented a film studio. This is the Worldport. Or at least the closest I could get to one that's a proper set. And I actually like this because it kind of signifies that, like, the decay has taken over because it's more black than white. But this is the Worldport. I dropped a lot of stuff to get this film studio. Haley and I did this. We filmed this on the nice camera. It's not as good in this VOD right now, but there's a really high quality version of this cutscene that'll be posted on its own. And there's a couple things when Icarus joins the Worldport. Number one, their fit is teared down to the bare essentials. You can see there's no necklaces. There's no, straps. There's no belt. That's absolutely on purpose. No wings. The wings are the most important. But the bird ears stay. And point A, the first line they say, I'm here, is in almost every single Worldport cutscene. I am a sucker for repetition, and almost every single time that Icarus showed up in the Worldport, it starts with, I'm here. Okay. Almost all of them. Literally almost all of them. And of course, we got our guy. And I can see you. Pulling a focus shot, my beloved.
Dead. Am I? No.
You're not. Then what's going on? Something that should have happened a long time ago. Look at him! This is QUIXIS. And now it's your turn. What? No, but you are. I'm not. QUIXIS is not my name. It never has been. It's a title. I don't understand. My name is Midas. I told you that I'm a version of you. From the gray dimension, as you would have called it. That was my home. And one day, I was called here. By the last QUIXIS. And since then, I've been in charge of all of reality's abnormalities. Okay. So, Midas, my boy, love him. Point A, I hope you guys like the voice. It took I tried a lot of different levels of voices for Midas, but I knew I wanted it to still sound like me. And I figured out that if I did a little bit of quirky little like auto-tune, it sounds like the voice is glitching up and down in octaves. Which I really liked. It gave it a little bit more robotic, but it still sounded like me. And then there's a little bit of reverb and a little bit of echo. But at its base, it still sounds like any Sherbert. Midas. Oh, I've had that name for so long. I have a funny story, actually, about the name Midas. I have a lot of stories that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to, for the record chat, I'm going to get through this cutscene, and then I'm going to explain in detail how QUIXIS works. Because I couldn't put it all in this cutscene, but I totally know it, and I know how it works, and I want to tell you guys about it. That's the point of this stream. But funny story about the name Midas. Midas is the reason that I am back into Magic the Gathering. There was a long-winded way when I was looking for songs for Midas, because I realized that I wanted a playlist for this lad. And I do my little Spotify looking. And I was looking up playlists of Midas, like the king, like from Greek mythology. And I found one, and on it there was a song called Old Money, which was a banger, and it's a Magic the Gathering song, like an official Magic the Gathering song, one of the ones we listened to. And it made me go home, listen to that whole album of Magic the Gathering songs, which got me to say, maybe I should make a Magic D&D campaign. Hey, maybe I should start playing Magic again. Hey, Haley and David, do you guys want to play some Magic? And now we're here. And it's all because of that silly little guy's name. It is a snowball effect into my Magic the Gathering addiction, which I think is really funny. But it's absolutely true. Midas is a name. It has a lot of meaning behind it, like Icarus does. Midas is one of the first names I ever came up with for any of the other Sherbs. And originally, I wanted them all to be Greek heroes. And one of the easiest ones after that was naming Ajax. And then after that, I realized that not all of the versions made sense to be Greek heroes. And some of them had to be divisions of Sherb. And that's like Sherwood. And but it wouldn't make sense for Epsilon to be named after a Greek god or a Greek hero. But I still kept it for Ajax and Midas and Icarus, which I think is neat. Midas is pronouns. I say they, them for Midas. All the Sherbs kind of have a they, them, and then maybe a he in there. And some of them got a she too in there. But yes. Midas is the QUIXIS throughout all of Fable, yes, and way long before that. And I have so much to say about that. But Midas as a name, it's the gold aura. It's everything you touch turns to gold. The gold. I've been foreshadowing this for so long. The lore hint that I was going to give you guys as a sub goal was that QUIXIS wasn't QUIXIS's name. That I was going to give you guys a couple days before the finale. That was that lore hint I was going to drop, was that, which you guys had already talked about QUIXIS not being QUIXIS's name. But that was going to be the lore hint I was going to give you guys. And I think Midas absolutely suits them. So yeah, I'm going to let a little bit more of this play through for anyone who hasn't seen it completely. And then I'm going to talk about a little bit how, like, this works. But here you go. It's QUIXIS's job to stop them and fix them. And I was supposed to call you here a long time ago. At first I hated it here. I was pulled here too young. I lost my family. My brother. But I did my duty. And then you started showing the sign. The sign? The eye. It's the sign that you're supposed to be next. You're the center of the next series of abnormalities. I'm supposed to call you here, pass you the crown, and stop them. But I couldn't. You were too young. Younger than me. I couldn't take your whole life away from you. So I waited. And waited. And then I waited too long. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what should have happened. So Midas drops here that the eye is the signal that you're supposed to be next. To give you guys a reference about how bad Midas screwed up not bringing Icarus here when they were supposed to. All of the other Sherbs having bleeding eyes was because the cycle was supposed to change again, and then change again, and then change again. It went through like 13, 14 Sherbs that should have been QUIXIS, with Midas being stuck there. So Icarus got theirs when they were a kid, and then short after that, probably hardcore Sherb got their bleeding eye, and Midas said, oh crap, there's never been two with a mark before, because there shouldn't, like, as soon as one pops up, you should take them. That's the whole thing, how it's supposed to work. And then the years that it takes Midas to do this, it gets to every single other Sherb. And before the last week, it gets to Rena. When it hits the last week, is the next Sherb getting the eye, and it's Rena. And that's why their eye starts bleeding, is because it got to Rena's time in the list. Couple things about the bleeding eye. The side doesn't matter. They were meant to be kind of half and half. I ended up putting most of them on one side of the Sherbert's face. The side doesn't matter particularly. I'm sorry for that, because it meant to be like half and half, and then I only put it on the right side, I think, for 2 Sherbs. And I was like, oh no, I messed up. They think there's something here and there's not. Originally, so the eye was meant to, okay, so another thing about the eye, it's a different Sherb's eye glitching into their face, right? It's always been that way. Icarus found out about that, about how the purple eye is hardcore Sherb's eye, and it glitched into their face to signify they're supposed to be next. The color of the eye that glitches into that person's face is the next person in the line. So when Icarus starts getting a purple bleeding eye, Midas knows, okay, after Icarus, it's gonna be Sherbert. But there was like something wrong that happened because Icarus didn't get pulled, that the next people in the lines kept trying to say that Icarus was next because it didn't ever get to Icarus. So you get some that are like along the line, and most of them end up pointing back to Icarus because that's who it should be. Hey, why haven't we done this yet? And that has been written for so long. That's been written for so long. And it took so long to even get to the point when, like, you guys knew that wasn't their eye to start with. And that's why it's such a big deal when you see Icarus as a kid and they have 2 yellow eyes. And yeah, when Midas talks about Icarus was too young, Icarus is like 12. I can get the exact year. I don't know if it's 12 when their eye starts bleeding. And logistically, you shouldn't wait more than a couple months after someone's eye starts bleeding to pull them to be QUIXIS. You shouldn't wait more than a couple months. Midas waits like 50, 60 years. I could argue that it's like a millennia of time for Midas. For Icarus, it's about 40, 50 years. But for Midas is stuck here for a lot longer. I think it was 10. Yeah. I will tell you guys, Midas got pulled when they were 17 to be QUIXIS. And I'm going to talk a lot about Midas's world. I am going to get to that. Icarus was like 10 when they were supposed to do this. And Midas said, I went through hell when I was pulled here and I was 17. There's no way I'm pulling a 10-year-old to come be QUIXIS. I don't care what my job is. I'm not doing that. And then Fable causes a reset. And suddenly, Midas can't bring them here. The, like, base connection that all of the portals in the Worldport go to gets severed. Where Midas can't interact properly. And at that point, they start freaking out and trying to figure out what to do. And then even more resets happen, and it gets so much worse. And Midas is stuck, panicking, having no idea what to do about it, except try to tell Icarus, hey, I need your help. I need you to figure out how to get here. I need you, please, dude. We're gonna be screwed. All the other versions of us are gonna be screwed if we don't do this. I know I didn't want to pull you when you were like 10, but oh my god, this is horrible. And that's a little bit of that. And then I'll talk a lot more about Midas, but I'm gonna let this keep playing. But that's what the bleeding eye is, and that's been written for so long. It's been written for so long. And you get, I'll talk about some of the other QUIXISes, like before this, because I absolutely have thoughts about that. And totally different personalities. The QUIXIS who pulls Midas in does not care. At all. That Midas is like young. They're done and they want to go home. And I'll talk about that. How old is Icarus in season 3? Icarus looks, so this is another thing, age isn't real. Icarus looks like mid-20s. Time-wise resets, they're like 40 or 50. Like, years they have lived, and then got reset back, and then live some years, and then get reset back. It's about 40, 50 years of time. They look about mid-20s. And that's true for every character, chat. That is true for every character. But we don't go by that. We go by what they look like. Alright? We go by what they look like. Not how old they actually are. So there you go. Let's keep this playing. When Fable caused that first reset, something happened in your world. It ripped me away from you. I couldn't get to you. And since then, well, things have gotten out of hand. I shouldn't have waited. But I'm glad I did. You got to see the end of your story through. Something I never had. I didn't realize. I know. And I don't blame you. But now I have to ask you to do the unthinkable. When you take this mantle... Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about Midas's relationship with Icarus. So, Midas, in their world, didn't get to live their life, right? They got pulled at like 17, didn't get to say goodbye, which we talked about on Ray's stream when Ray talks to Midas. didn't get to live their life. And when Icarus's eye starts bleeding, they start seeing a lot of themselves in Icarus, and basically decides that they want to live through Icarus. They're like, after like 20 years pass and they've been in the Worldport longer than they were in their world, Icarus's life is Midas's life at that point. What Icarus is doing is what Midas is living life through. And once like they establish contact in like season 2 and season 3, Midas should absolutely pull Icarus to come be QUIXIS. Absolutely should do that, but is now so attached to Icarus's life and Icarus's friends and family that they can't get themselves to rip them away from that after it's been so long. It takes until after the finale for Midas to say, okay, you lived your life. Pulling Icarus out, like, in the middle of the corruption arc, or, like, once they've established contact, like, after Icarus remembers in season 2, I don't think Midas could live with themselves, having make that decision. And that causes, point A, a lot of the worlds to decay. But, like, Midas is so fond of Icarus and wants to do everything they can to make Icarus's life better. But Midas has also seen everything through all of the resets. And that's where Midas's distaste for Fable comes in. Because Midas sees Fable as the guy who screwed everything up and also is really bad to his kids. So when you get in season 3, when they're gonna let Fable out, and Midas starts freaking out, glitching everything, trying to stop Fable, it's because Midas knows that Icarus's life is not going to be better when Fable gets out, and is trying to do everything they can to change that action. It ends up not working. Fable gets out, obviously, and like that's what the wings are. Is like Midas, like, oh please God, just stop trying to go. Just let the portal glitch. Stop doing this. When Haley comes out instead of Fable in season 2, it's all Midas saying, okay, no, but you don't get it, but you really don't want your dad to be out. You really don't, okay? I've seen all the stuff he did. I've seen all the stuff he did in the war. I saw how he treated you and raised kids. This is not worth it, okay? I don't care if you disagree. And then Icarus yells at them and is like, how dare you? Did Midas have a Ray or Athena? Oh, we're gonna get there, chat. And the answer is yes. Midas had alternates of pretty much everybody on Fable. Midas had a Centros, Midas had a Ray, Midas had an Isla, Midas had a Fable, Midas had a Caspian, Midas had a Jamie, and probably some other people, but those are the ones that I fleshed out. And I'm gonna get to, once I get through this, I want to talk about Midas's world, because Midas's world is quirky. But let's let the rest of this play now. Alright. You will be able to set everything straight. All of the worlds will stop decaying. All the versions of us will get their lives back. But in your world, the change is too great. What do you mean? To help them, you'll have to erase any remnants of changes. Any remnants of you. You're too closely tied with the abnormalities. It would be impossible to separate the two. To them, it would be like you died back when you first would have. And their memory will fill in the gaps without you. But their world will be the same, with no risk of changes, and they'll have each other. Okay. So, at some point, when Midas is watching Icarus, they realize that what needs to happen when Icarus gets pulled, and realizes how far gone the world is. And Midas totally knows that when Icarus comes here, the only way to fix it is to change the memories. And that is just another reason that Midas waits. Because Midas doesn't want to see Icarus in pain. Midas doesn't want Icarus to come be QUIXIS and despise it. Wants it to be something that Icarus understands and can enjoy. Another reason that waits for that they wait for the end of the story to happen is because they know this is going to happen. So you guys have a lot of questions about what it means when it says their memories will fill in the gaps. Okay? I know. I hear you. And the answer is, it's up to you what that means. Okay? What I have specifically that happens, okay, that gets seen a little bit in other people's epilogues that I want to expand on, is everyone else has no memory of Icarus. Anything that happened over across pretty much any of the resets with Icarus, people don't remember. Wiped. Okay? Ray and Isla remember Icarus and Fable, but only as kid who was with Ray that one day fell off a cliff and died. Like they would have. That's what they remember Icarus as. Icarus existed in the world, so when Ray is talking about in his epilogue, I'm looking for Icarus in Elysium, he's not looking for Icarus as we know. He's looking for, well, my brother died a long time ago, so theoretically his soul should be here, and I want to, like, do stuff for him, but it's not, and that's really weird. Okay? Most things that happen in the plotline are attributed to QUIXIS. Like, one of the things that we did have set is if somebody said, oh, what killed Fable? QUIXIS killed Fable. It glitched him, he died. How everything else is remembered is up to you guys, because I wanted it to be open-ended. And the bit is that you guys don't get to see Fable anymore, so you guys don't know how their memory is fixed, if they figured it out, if they realized that Icarus totally existed and they remembered. And that's what fics are for, and headcanons, and you got, I want you to go ahead and fill in what you want that to be. Maybe they never remember Icarus, and they go on their lives just with like a hole there. Or if you guys want to say, oh yeah, they're happy, they remember. Personally, I don't think they do. Personally, I don't think that they do. Remember at all. And I'll talk about Icarus coming back, because I do have thoughts on that. But I don't think you guys realize what it means when Icarus comes back, because this is like decades away, where time is passing in Fable, before Icarus can even attempt to try and come back and call the next QUIXIS. I personally don't think that they remember Icarus, or that they won't until the end. The exception might be Caspian, because he's the patron god of memory, and realize something's off, but then realize why it's like that, and realize that he can't tell people about it because it will just cause more of a rift. There's a really good fic out already of Caspian remembering and then like telling Ray on their wedding day. But one thing that I will say, in the canon, again, headcanons are your own. You want to say it's different and go write a fic about it, you can. But in the canon, Icarus cannot have a physical form on Fable as QUIXIS. While Icarus is QUIXIS, they cannot be there physically. QUIXIS, Midas was never there physically. As Icarus, in the Worldport, as QUIXIS, you cannot enter other worlds. You can only see what's happening and fix the changes. Or change things, if you so wish. So in the couple of epilogues, where, like the flower that Vea finds, that is Icarus's QUIXIS changing a flower, which is something that I absolutely think that Icarus does, is specifically changing flowers, because it's a small enough change that it's not a problem. But can't go down physically and do anything. If you want a headcanon that's different, go for it. But in my canon of what happens, they can't do that. Yeah. And then I have thoughts on what it looks like when they do get to go back and remember. And when they go back, I will say, canonly, people will remember them. They don't have to start over. People remember what happened as Icarus and the truth. And people will probably be pissed about it. People will probably be really, really pissed about that and that the memories were gone. But they would get them back. I will say that. You get your happiness, okay? Okay. But this is like way down the line. All right. That's personally how I see it. The reason that I left this open-ended is because I like seeing what you guys want. But that is how it goes for me. They don't remember. Tiny little changes. QUIXIS, the entity, is known of, but then kind of like disappears. And people don't really know a lot about QUIXIS. And then eventually, way down the line, they come back and they do get to remember Icarus as they were when they were there. That's my POV. Shall we keep going? Do they know what happened to Icarus after they come back? Icarus will have to explain, hey, I went and became QUIXIS. I didn't die. But everything that, like, the plot of season 1 and season 2 and season 3, they would remember. Let's keep going, shall we?
Oh. Icarus, no. It's okay. They'll all be okay, right? They'll be happy? I think so. Good. I guess I do get to fix something after all.
Sometimes.
I am sorry for everything I put you through, everything I put all of them through. I don't blame you.
The subtext there is that they blame themselves. Midas says it twice in this conversation when Icarus is like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't know what you were doing. And Midas says, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I blame myself. That's the subtext there. That's the subtext. If you didn't pick up on that. Specifically, like not only just to reassure Icarus, but Midas does see a lot of what happened as their fault. Which is just Midas's character. And pretty reasonable, I think. But Midas trying to reassure Icarus and saying, no, this isn't your fault. It's not your fault. I don't blame you. It's my fault, but I'm not going to say that in front of you. Oh no, let's keep going.
And neither do they. Your family, your friends, they care for you. And now you get to help them. Protect them. Until you get to go home. Oh wait, I get to go home? Yes. QUIXIS is a position you serve. It was always meant to be temporary. If it hadn't gone wrong. So what happens to you now?
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about Icarus's mentality towards being QUIXIS. To go on a little bit tangent, Icarus has always been a failure. And there are many reasons for that, but the number one reason, in my opinion, is because Icarus wasn't Icarus. Icarus was Icarus and Sherbert. And because they are not, like, quote-unquote, full-blooded Icarus, there's hesitation in what they do. There's shortcomings. Like, I think that Icarus, as Icarus, would totally have creation powers. But because they're not fully them, they don't. Everything they do is only half. The reason they can't live up to Fable's expectations is because they're not just that person anymore. They are what the Sherbverse has made them into. And that's really important when you look at Icarus's, like, character completely. and like specifically the cartoon villain aspect, I think Icarus, as Icarus, would be murdering up the wazoo. I think like full Prince Icarus with Fable going down that line. Terrible person. Terrible person. Probably has some degree of creation powers, but that never got to happen. And I think a lot about that, and that's something that I want to talk about when I go into also why Icarus got a Sherbert memory in the Remembering cutscene of season 2. Absolutely. And I want to talk about a little more on that, but I wanted to leave that there for now. I want to talk about what the Sherbverse is as a metaphor. But let's let this keep playing for now.
I'm not sure. My world is gone, but with how long I've spent here, I can hardly call that my world at all. So I guess that's for both of us to find out. You're going to be a great QUIXIS.
That line is so important to me. Because, like, POV or Midas, you have seen Icarus and what they've gone through and how they react, and knowing that completely genuine praise is going to be what can carry them through it. And it is completely genuine. But Midas knows how much that means to Icarus. Of saying, no, I believe in you. I've always believed in you. You don't know me as well as I know you. But you being happy here is way more important than my happiness, because your life has been my life for basically millennia. And it hits, dude. It hits. Because I said, like, time passes slower in the Worldport, and Midas has been there for a lot longer than time has passed in any of, like, the other worlds. You don't know me, but I know you. Yep, that sound. That one for sure. I heard that sound for the first time, and I was like, oh, it's them. Oh, it's them. They don't know it's them, but it's them. And let's talk about where Midas is going. So, a lot of worlds have fallen over the time that Midas has been here. And we see that a little bit in one of the Worldport cutscenes, where Sherbert Icarus breaks down one of the walls, the barriers, the black barriers, and shows that the Worldport is a lot longer, filled with broken worlds. The Worldport is infinite. Infinite dimensions, infinite Sherberts. But Midas, very quickly after realizing that stuff wasn't going to work how it was supposed to, sectioned off the 12 worlds that you guys know and said, okay, these 12, if they can make it through this, will be able to rebuild. A lot is going to go wrong, and a lot is going to break outside of this. But if I can protect just these 12 worlds and focus all my attention on these 12 worlds, we have a chance. There's absolutely infinite Sherbs, though. It's just the 12 direct ones that you know and love. And that's why you see Bound. The Bound portal is the last portal remaining on the outside of the portal that Icarus breaks down. They can see the dark red portal that is Bound. And how it's the last one standing in the infinite line of portals. And you like, you guys don't realize how important that is, as like, this is the last defense that Midas had that's keeping everything together. when Icarus becomes QUIXIS at the end of this cutscene, they start being able to rebuild those worlds. And that's why you see Epsilon, is because Midas doesn't know if that's even possible to rebuild the worlds, but says if I can keep these alive, then I'm keeping the worlds alive. Midas doesn't know if that's something Icarus can even do when they're QUIXIS. Midas's power is depleted. They've been here for too long, etc. Midas's world is out there. Midas's old world is out there. They don't think there's anything left of that. Is there? Debatable. We'll talk about that when we get to the other side. But Midas here fully thinks that they're going to pass QUIXIS to Icarus. Icarus are going to become QUIXIS, and they are going to go back to their world, which doesn't exist, and basically die. And they're okay with that, knowing that they brought Icarus that life, because Midas's life isn't their life. It's Icarus's. So Midas fully thinks that they're going to go die in the void. Basically, they're going to go back to the world. There's nothing there, and they'll just disintegrate like everything else in that world. But they don't, and we'll get to that. But that's what Midas thinks is going to happen here. And Midas is totally okay with that. Yeah. Anyways, let's keep going. CMV time!
I'm ready.
Doop-a-doop-a-doop-doop. Here we go! Here we go! This is the moment! Them. I love them. That's my boy! Oh! Oh! Ripley! Ripley in particular! Chat. Chat. Hi, chat. How are we doing today? Can I give you a fit check? That's what that is. It's that guy. Okay. So, point A. I call this Icarixis. That's how I pronounce it. You guys can call it whatever you want. I've seen a lot of you guys saying QUIXIS. I say Icarixis. Name is QUIXIS, to be clear. Name is QUIXIS, but I refer to this as Icarixis. That's what I've used for a really long time. When I'm referring to when Icarus becomes QUIXIS. But yeah, okay, so there's a lot to say here. This is absolutely why I needed all those new Sherbert fits. I have been speedrunning all of the Sherberts to film this over the past, like, 2 weeks. It's been crazy. All the eyes are fixed, chat, because Icarus becomes QUIXIS, and the line is, like, the time is reset. So, the next time that you guys see a Sherbert with a bleeding eye, that means that Icarus's time is done. Whenever that may happen. Don't know when, don't know how far down the line, but you will not see more eye blood until it's Icarus's time. Shrug. Yes, I have to go make all the skins. Yes, it's going to be a pain, but it's okay. It's gonna be so odd. I will say, chat, there will still be content made of the Sherbs, including Icarus with eye blood. Like, I have a lot of videos planned. Chat, there might be like 3 more CMVs of the Sherbverse, because, hey look, I sure had to cosplay every version of Sherbert. Bold of you to assume this was the only thing I filmed. Bold of you to assume this was the only thing I filmed when I was in every single Sherbert. Bold of you to assume that I don't have like 2 more CMVs basically done, ready to release at any time, of all the Sherbert versions. Will the other Sherbers remember that weird period of time where their eye is bleeding? Yes. And you guys are gonna, you guys are gonna see this over the next couple streams that you guys get of other Sherberts. Yeah, they don't know what happened. They just know their eye stopped bleeding, and so did the glitching. And that's what Icarixis talks about when they're like, well, they know a little something's up for sure now. Oh, and the other thing I didn't say is, it's going to be a different case for Icarus because of the fact that Icarus's life was involved with QUIXIS, but past QUIXISes do not remember their time as QUIXIS. They basically, when they go back to their world, they pick up right where they left off. And have no memory of doing it. It's going to be different for Icarus because Icarus's life was involved with QUIXIS. But I will tell you guys, as a little tea for you all, the QUIXIS before Midas was Rio. Hypixel Sherb. Hypixel Sherb was QUIXIS. Oh, the things don't exist anymore, chat. Not really. But, yeah, Hypixel Sherb, that was QUIXIS before Midas. I think that's neat. That's just a fun fact. Does not remember being QUIXIS at all, or time that they were gone. But Rio is absolutely before Midas. Rio is not the first QUIXIS. There is a long line leading back to, like, the first QUIXIS. But Rio was the one before Midas. And that's a thing. So let's talk a little bit about the things, because that's the next little thing I talk about in this section. So the things. You guys were never things. You guys were always people. You guys were always chatters. You guys were always chatters. You were never things. You were just people acting like objects. Which I thought is funny. But you guys were always people canonically. The people that you are in real life behind your screen. For Sherbert. And let's talk about some of the glitching and Fable, because this is a very important fact. So, when you're writing a story, there is something called an inciting incident, where your story is in exposition until an event happens that changes things for the characters. It is, we lived like this until blank. And that blank is called the inciting incident in a story. The inciting incident is the things. The story of Fable had been going on for a very long time. And when the things appear, when the streams start, there is now the ability for things to change. Glitching was already happening. Glitching was happening in resets before this. But not to the extent it did once the things showed up. You guys glitching in is the inciting incident, aka when the streams start. The reason you guys see streamed Fable SMP is because the real world glitches into Fable SMP. You guys are not a chat, you guys are not the auras. To Icarus, you are whack. You are another glitch. Icarus's chat is totally birds. The stuff that talks to Icarus, that's birds. They were birds talking to Icarus until you guys glitched in. And that's why the story picks up when it does. It's the start of a new reset, another big glitch, and that's a big deal. We are a glitch. You guys have always been a glitch. I've hinted to that a lot. When Ray was able to see your guys' auras and saw that you guys were all brown. Yeah. Because you're not from Fable. You're not like the other chats. You're people. And the real inciting incident for Fable is the glitching. So resets have happened for a long time. A really, really long time. But people have never been able to remember. It was not ever something that was possible. People did not remember. Like, they did not remember past resets. The first, 15 resets, nobody remembered. There was no way they could have. There was nothing there to trigger that. The glitched in stuff changes that. The glitched in stuff is why the story picks up like it does. Because before the glitches, there was no way for any character to ever remember their resets before this. Except with exceptions, like Pocket Dimensions, Mambu, Oshi, yeah. But your regular guys, there was no way for them to do that. Until stuff started glitching from past resets and triggering that memory. And that's the real inciting incident of Fable. The reason you guys start seeing it when you do is because you guys glitch into the world. And the reason it changes for the characters is because of the passive glitches that are happening. And that's been written for a really, really long time. Ray knew about the end because of past resets glitching in. Yup. It was impossible for anyone to naturally remember past resets. Until stuff started glitching at the rate that it was. Shall I play this next little sequence for you guys? I'll play the next little sequence for you guys. Alright. So this is Icarus talking.
And then there's you all. I think I am gonna miss talking to you things. You people. You weren't meant to see any of this. I can see that now. I can see everything now. And yet, you all tried so hard to help me. In whispers through the tiny rifts in the world around me.
There you go. Your tiny rifts. Every single one of you is a tiny rift talking. It just happens to be The rift is in a brewing stand. And the rift is in my XP bar. It's the only reason you guys can talk through things in the GUI, chat. Why else would you be able to talk as a hotbar? Icarus doesn't have a hotbar. Icarus doesn't have an inventory. Icarus doesn't have a level bar. How are you talking through that? There's a rift there. There's a rift there from the real world. Okay, I'll keep it playing now.
It's kind of miraculous that you all found your way here. Through what, your screens? I remember thinking that sounded crazy when you first said it. Well, now you're free. Yes, really. You don't have to stay here. You did it.
So that is basically Icarus is saying, hey, yeah, thanks guys for like figuring all this out. You guys have done super good. But yeah, it's all good now. Everything's gonna get fixed. You guys can go home. You guys can leave chat. You guys don't have to be here anymore. It's all fixed. I don't like need that glitch anymore. But of course you guys are staying. Of course you guys are.
You're still here. Oh. Well, fine. Let's make an agreement then. All of my versions are at least a little aware now.
Yeah, all their eyes just disappeared.
If you're going to stick around, keep a proper eye on them all. I may be QUIXIS now, but I can't be communicating like Midas did. To you or to them. I'm supposed to be keeping stuff like that in check after all.
You guys aren't gonna hear from Icarus for a while. And this is Icarus's like goodbye. Saying, hey, Midas made everything kind of messed up. And they kind of had to try and send messages to the Sherbs. I can't do that. I can't do that. I have to stay here. And technically, you guys are an abnormality. And I should get rid of you. But you guys are kind of homies. So we gonna make a deal. I have to follow the rules now. Yeah.
And my family, well, I know they'll be okay. You can't stay with them, though. Not like you have been. I can't risk ripping that world apart again. But they'll give you glimpses. I mean, they are right now.
AKA, Fable can't be streamed anymore. That's what that means. That's Icarus saying, hey, I have to not let you guys see Fable for their sake. That's what that is. It's saying, you guys can stay and look over all the Sherberts, but I can't let you guys go to Fable. You can't see anything else streamed there. You can't interact there. But they're going to give you glimpses of what happens, and that's everybody's epilogues. So if you haven't gone and watched everybody's epilogues, that is the rest of the story of what's happening on Fable. Which I absolutely love. Everyone's epilogue is so good, you should all go watch it. But this is Icarus is saying, hey, you guys can't be there anymore. Not like you have been. Not as chat, not as live. Because it's too fragile. Anyways.
I know I'll get to see them again one day. But for now, how about you guys remember me for them? I'll be okay here. Really, I will. I finally get to do the one thing I've always wanted to do. Something right.
That line is so important. Something right. It is genuinely Icarus's driving motive. To be good for someone, to do something right. And now that they aren't there anymore, they get the chance to do that. What they're actually supposed to be doing. They haven't been supposed to be there. They haven't supposed to be messing everything up, killing people, doing all of that. This is where they're supposed to be. This is their purpose. And they're gonna be pretty good at it. And that's really important to Icarus as a character.
Thank you. Thanks. And goodbye. Of course you're here. Well, let's get started.
So I'll talk a little about Charles. Okay, Charles is an entity with much unknown. Charles, in my canon, is a entity from the world of the first ever QUIXIS. That I'm really just gonna pull this out on you guys. That the first QUIXIS tried to take with him into the Worldport. Tried to take Charles with them. And it didn't work. So Charles kind of became basically like an otherworldly being that was going to serve a different purpose in the Worldport. And oddly enough, that purpose is to make sure every version is never alone. But he hates it. He hates it. He's so over it. He's so over it. And most of the versions of him don't know that that's like what he's supposed to be. He just thinks he's stuck with this stupid loser when he could be doing way more fun stuff. But his actual purpose is to make sure that every Sherbert version is never alone. But he hates it, and he hates Sherbert. So Sherbert hates him back. And that's what Charles is. Charles, uncanonically, was a chicken on Odyssey SMP. That when I was first making the Sherbverse, was basically the only chicken that I had in like that world, like game-wise, and he kept laying eggs, and he wouldn't, like, he kept laying eggs, and I only had one chicken, so I couldn't start, like, breeding, and all of the eggs he laid never spawned a chicken, and it took, like, an inordinate amount of time to get a second chicken. I think we had to go get it from, like, the wilderness and not from one of his eggs, even though, like, that's, like, the whole bit is when you get one chicken, you can make more. And I was like, I freaking hate this guy. And then, like, months later, I was like, okay, this guy's gonna be, like, important. So, like, I guess I'll give him lore. But his actual, like, origin is that. It's very stupid, but it's very silly. That's Charles. So when Icarus goes to the Worldport, Charles can go with. But that's what Charles is. Ha! You're not fertile! Exactly, because he's not! He cannot make more chickens! He's too otherworldly to have kids. Or something. I don't know, I leave the Charles canon up in the air. But, then this.
Well, let's get started.
This made me emotional. And I know it made you guys emotional too, but Fun fact, the song that plays for this section is from One Shot, and it's called Self-Contained Universe. And I think that's important to note. I used this song a couple times, like many times in lore, but I knew I wanted to use it here. Yeah, it's called Self-Contained Universe. What do the colors of the names mean? It's the colors of their worlds. So that's Icarus's epilogue. I want to say so much about the Sherbverse now, but I don't need to have this pulled up anymore. I can now break out of this, and I want to talk to you guys like more directly about some of the behind the scenes stuff that is the Sherbverse and how the lore works. And I think I'm going to start off with Midas's world. So Midas's world is gray. Midas calls it the gray universe because like that's how Sherbert identifies them, by color. The worlds don't have like specific names, like fancy smancy names. They are designated by color. And Midas's is gray. Midas's world, in my brain, was always like a dystopian utopia where Midas like grew up on a street where all the houses are the same and everything's the same color and everything's perfect. That's Midas's world to me. And Midas had a brother, Rael, which got dropped in the lore that Ray did with QUIXIS. And Midas had Fable and Isla as their parents, as a different version of them. Had a version of Athena, a version of Centros, a version of Caspian, and a version of Jamie. There are more, but the reason that I can tell you for sure that those ones exist is because I can finally tell you about something that I wrote. Chat, about 2 years ago, in my screenwriting class, I came up with an idea for a TV show that genuinely, if I got all the money in the world and all the resources and I got to make anything I wanted, it would be this TV show. And it is a show telling the story of Midas becoming QUIXIS. Uses some different words than what we see in Fable. But basically, the first episode is Midas getting ripped out of their world and talking to the QUIXIS before Midas, saying, "This is your job now," and Midas saying, "What the hell, no, I don't want to do this," and QUIXIS saying, "You don't have a choice." And over the course of 12 episodes, Midas has to basically go to each world and fix something there and realize how important and meaningful the job of QUIXIS is. And each world they go to, completely different set, completely different stuff. It's all the different worlds, and have to basically solve some glitch, figure out what there is wrong, and change it back to how it's supposed to be. Copyright, mine. It's mine. And, yeah, basically have to go to all of the different worlds and learn something from each of them until eventually he has to, like, go back to his world to fix something and realize that he's happy with how he is as QUIXIS and with what he's doing, and knowing that he gets to protect all of the other versions of himself. And the bit as like a TV show would be that it's like the same characters. So it's Ray, Athena, Centros, Haley, Caspian, in all of the universes playing different versions of themselves. So like we start in that world and then we go to like Among Us, and it's the same cast, all the same actors playing different versions of themselves. And then we do that. And then we go to the next one, and it's the same cast. But they're all different, and it's all there's a different thing that's going on in the world. And I totally wrote the pilot like 2 years ago. That is the scene of Midas talking to QUIXIS. And the sub-goal, after this sub-goal, is to release that script for you guys to read. The sub-goal after this one, the QUIXIS playlist drop, is to release that for you guys to read. It's written in proper script writing like fashion, as an actual pilot I could pitch to a like TV network to make this a limited series. Yeah, eating that up actually. Where like I could make like a Black Mirror type show where I could do all of that. If I had unlimited money and unlimited resources, I'd be all up in that. And back when I wrote it first, those were the characters that I wrote different versions of. Allegedly, in Midas's world, there are plenty of... Like, all the characters that you now know on Fable would have alternates. At the time, they weren't a part of the server, so they're not written in the original script. In that universe, I think Ray is older, by the way. Rael is older than Midas, by the way. Thank you, Allie Bloom, for the gifted. Oh my goodness, is that... Oh, that's sub goal. Let me do a little bit of a... Thank you. We're on our way to the script. I will drop the QUIXIS playlist. Let me go make it public really quick. I had it pulled up. Let me go make it public. Where is it? There it is. So let me make this public on my YouTube, and I'll make a command to it, chat. But let me show you guys. This really quick. This is my QUIXIS playlist. These are all of the songs. There are a couple sections to it. The top bit is QUIXIS's in general, all the way to the future. This is just songs I think have the vibe of QUIXIS, the position, and the Worldport. This section is Midas, going up until Another Believer. These are Midas songs. And I have big reasons for all of them. Knowing what you know now, please go listen to Disembodied Mind. The line, "I am in trouble with myself again," is so Midas breaking the laws of the Sherbert versions. It's so Midas. Oh my god. Go listen to Disembodied Mind if you haven't, in the context of Midas not doing his goddamn job. Because it hits, man. It hits. Oh yeah, Scattering Remains is great. Never Love an Anchor. There's better characters that Never Love an Anchor is applied to, but Midas singing about Icarus absolutely hits. On some level, I think I always understood that these hands of mine were clumsy, not clever, is so them. Then we get a section of songs here, up to Other Side, that are songs I associate with Icarus ascending. Show Yourself from Frozen 2 is so... Show Yourself has been on the character Sherbert playlist for so long, and the line, "You are the one you've been waiting for all of your life," is really funny. It's really funny. Of Icarus going to try and talk to Midas, and Midas going, "Nuh-uh-uh, it's your job, not mine." Another Believer I like for them, and then down here I have Icarus. Listen to this song. If you haven't ever heard this song, go listen to it. If you guys want to make me sing it right now, I would gladly sing this song or The Last Goodbye. These two in particular are so Icarus. They're so... Ghost Song is so on the nose. And Last Goodbye has way too many. When The Last Goodbye came out after a heist with Markiplier, they're paused? Unpause it then! That's your job, mods! I'll only do it for one of these two songs, though. But The Last Goodbye, when that came out and In Space with Markiplier happened, I cried. The first time I listened to it, I cried. Because of how well it fit the Sherbverse. And then when I found this song, I cried again. Which one do you want? Sing Ghost Song now? Alright, chat. I interrupt your regularly scheduled program to show you the most Icarus quoted song that is out there. Are you ready? And you guys might cry. I don't need the lyrics, but I'm gonna pull them up. Are you ready, chat? Alright, here we go. Let's do a little sing. Walking through gardens that I don't remember. I'm passing through hallways I don't understand. Haunting a house that I've lived in for ages. My 1,000-yard stare going straight through my hand. Watch my limbs go clear and becoming what I fear. In a year or two they'll tell tales of my presence. Pair of red eyes, a chill so unpleasant. These days I feel like a face in the mist, trying to show the world I still exist. All of my friends are just passing right through me. I'm not being seen while I'm being watched, so I'll mess with the temperature, hide in the shadows. I'll shake all the windows and jiggle the locks. Just want someone to see what a scary ass ghost I'd be. In a year or two they'll tell tales of my presence. Pair of red eyes, a chill so unpleasant. These days I feel like a face in the mist, trying to show the world I still exist. Do you hear me through all the radio static? Can you hear me through the window in the attic? Do you hear me through all the radio static? Can you see me through the window in the attic? In a year or two they'll tell tales of my presence. Pair of red eyes, a chill so unpleasant. These days I feel like a face in the mist, trying to show the world I still exist. So yeah. I found that song and I was like, hold on. How do you know? How do you know? I just needed to yell about that for a little bit, chat. But yeah, chat, this is the QUIXIS playlist. It's public now. If you go to my YouTube and you go to my playlists, you can find this as well as the character Sherbert playlist. I'm also going to make some commands for this chat after stream that we'll send you here. You can see that there's a lot of ghost metaphors going on here, because I think it fits well. Song is about being a ghost, where you're changing things, but people can't see you. Is really the trope. Ooh. That might be a CMV coming, chat, I'm not gonna lie. It's already filmed. This is... Alright, I'm QUIXIS, we're doing this. I'm doing this. And this is, well, it's a song I started stream with the other day, but, I just like it. Gotta have that Jock Stopper moment, you know what I mean? But this is the QUIXIS playlist. Yeah, big thoughts. Who You Are. Where's Who You Are? Where's Who You Are? This is a song that I really like for telling Icarus, hey, you're QUIXIS. And this is a song for Icarus adapting to being QUIXIS. Tally Hall, my beloved. Anyways, chat, that's the QUIXIS playlist. Tasty! Let me make the new sub goal for the script. Boop, boop. You got a hydrate? I will do a hydrate. Okay, chat. So, to continue talking about all of the little bits I can talk about. Share the Sherbverse script. This is a show that I would love to make in the future. I think a lot about it. Icarus by Lovebug? Oh yeah, that's been on the Character Sherbert playlist forever. I love that thing. Okay. To continue. Slurp, 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 slurp. Alright. Let me go through some of my notes on things I wanted to mention. Oh, okay. One of the really silly things that has been written forever, chat, forever, is the Trident. I am a sucker for little symbols, and bold of you to assume that this little trident was ever not the QUIXIS symbol. When I designed this frickin' trident, you just bring this little bit up to the top and shrink this line down and you get a Q, and it's been staring you in the face. Which you get to see in this section where it shows the symbol slowly changing into the Q that is the QUIXIS symbol. Yeah, it's almost like a piece of it broke off and disconnected it. It's almost like a piece of the top of it broke off and disconnected the whole thing. And I'm such a loser, but there was absolutely symbolism there. Absolutely, there was freaking symbolism there. The one other thing that I think is really funny, that was not intentional, and I think it is crazier that it's not intentional. So, we see Epsilon, right? We see Epsilon. Are you gonna make merch for this? Maybe. Definitely. Fun fact. You see Epsilon right here, right, chat? That's not what I want. Hold on. Go away. You see Epsilon here? I made the lights flash, right? It was like, oh man, look. The world. It's rebuilding itself. It's flashing. It's flashing. Wow, look at it. Look at it flash. The light's flashing. You guys pointed out that this is totally Morse code. Long. Short. Long. I have B-roll of me sitting here for like 30 seconds where I'm just like flashing the light. I grabbed a random chunk out of that B-roll and it was Morse code for Q. Long, short, long. That's Q in Morse code. And no, I didn't plan that. And I think it's weird. I think it's so weird. that happened. I think that's so weird because I didn't, that was totally something that I would do. And when you guys were like, oh my god, it's Morse code for Q, I was like, no way, no shot, it's Morse code for Q. No way. And it is. And how did that happen? I don't know how that happened. Real QUIXIS glitch? Real QUIXIS? But not like real like in the ARG, like real? What? Wild. That was something that I saw that you guys were doing. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's talk about a couple things that you guys totally found ARG-wise for Sherbert, and the fact that I had to abandon one of them. Many of you guys found the character Sherbert TikTok that I made. I made that forever ago. There is a TikTok account, chat. There is a TikTok account. I'm literally gonna pull it up. Called c.sherbert. This is the TikTok account c.sherbert. I made this. When was this video posted? 5-4. You know what 5-4 is? The day Fable Season 1 ended. Do you know what 5-18 was? The day that Season 2 started. Did you know that that's the Season 1 to Season 2 break? You guys went crazy over the Season 2 to Season 3 break. That's where Icarus was during the Season 1 to Season 2 break. Also in IRL. And you guys found this, and I was so freaking happy when you guys found this. I was like, they found my secrets, and there's Quixian written here. This was the first time Quixian ever showed up, was on this TikTok. The first time ever Quixian showed up was on this TikTok. And I think that's so neat that you guys found it on your own. But that was totally the Season 1 to Season 2 break. Shrug. Was I going to continue posting cryptic stuff on there? Yes. Did I lose the login? Also, yes. I was totally gonna post more cryptic stuff there. I had a whole plan. I lost the login. So, you only get those two. Somebody just asked, why was Quixian in Valette? Great question. That's on my list to talk about. When Quixian first started glitching in... okay, hold on. Let's talk about Quixian for a second. Quixian, you guys did such a wonderful job being able to decipher that when I first made it. Quixian pulls letters from a bunch of different languages on Fable. It pulls letters from Ender, it pulls letters from Telkin, and it pulls words from Valette. The reason that every message that Midas tried to send to Icarus is ciphered is because it has to go through a dimensional border. It has to go from Worldport to Fable. There is a border there, and while it's going through that, it gets scrambled. Midas never started writing ciphered. You can see that in Starman. In the Starman CMV, you see Midas write, in English, I can't get to you. And then it gets sent to Sherbert, and it's all ciphered and glitched. Midas was not doing that on purpose to make it harder for them. They were desperately trying to communicate with Icarus. But the language barrier and the world barrier between the portals caused it to be all quirky, and Valette was originally one of those languages that got mixed into the pot. Valette was totally one of those languages. And then, at the start of Season 3, Valette stopped existing. Valette glitched out of existence. So suddenly, QUIXIS wasn't glitching in Valette anymore. So there you go. That's why Quixian was in Valette originally, is because, point A, I wanted to make it harder for you. From an ARG standpoint, couldn't be that easy. You had to go through like 3 languages and ciphers. Okay, I made it hard. And then Valette stopped, so you guys got a little bit easier with it. Okay. I talked about how the eye is the next one. Oh, okay. Let's talk about some of the worlds that didn't get chosen. So fun fact, I built the Worldport by hand in a creative world just for fun. I knew it was a place that I wanted to use as a spot for Sherbert. So I built it by hand. Didn't copy that. I built every block in that by hand for some reason. That was before I had world edit. And I knew that I had 12 worlds because there were 12 colors in Minecraft. And I started filling them up. And back in like season 1, I was slowly filling up all of the colors. But I didn't know what projects I was going to be a part of in the future. I didn't know what projects people were going to want me to be a part of. So I purposely left doors unchosen. Certain colors like orange and red and like cyan got left really long before I gave them a who it was, because I didn't know if I was going to be starting a new series of playing a big game that I was going to want to Sherbert in, but then ran out of colors. So there are some that were set from the beginning, like Among Us was always green, I knew that one. Purple was always hardcore, brown was always IRL, yellow was obviously Fable. One of the last ones that I chose was Potion Craft. One of the last worlds that I decided got to be its own Sherbert was Potion Craft, and that was red. And then Bound happened, and I was like, shucks! Bound happened, and I was like, god damn it, I ran out of colors just a little too early! I ran out of colors just a little bit too early! Oh, shucks! And when Bound happened, I was like, alright, I have two options here. Option number 1. I have 2 things that I can reveal to chat when I reveal Bound. Number 1 is that there are more worlds outside of the 12, which is what I ended up going with. That Icarus was going to punch on the wall and show there were other worlds out there, and Bound's the only one left, as dark red. The other one was that worlds can rebuild themselves, and Bound was going to be orange, and rebuild itself in the orange portal's place, and fully kill the portal dimension. I ended up going with the first one, and I didn't really get to show you guys that worlds rebuild themselves until like now. But Bound was a rough one for me to pick. And fun fact, is this fully? I think I can show this. Just checking. Yeah, fun fact, flowers, there wasn't really a reason for them. I just thought it was neat that all the Sherbs had different flowers. Myrrh's lime. So chat, here's my chart of the Sherbert versions. This was my chart of the Sherbert versions that I had. And I can now fill this in. These were names that you guys knew versus names you didn't know. And I was slowly filling them out. So there's all the rays, if you don't have them. But yeah, hardcore doesn't have a ray, notably. This is just ray. But yeah, that was my key. I often had to go back and look at that chart to remember rays names and flowers. Yeah, flowers weren't any particular. Why is Midas white? It was originally white. I changed it to gray. I can change it to gray now. Midas was originally white. So yeah, chat. That's all I'll say about the chart. But okay, hold on. What else do I got? Oh my god, one thing you guys never solved. Okay. 2 points here. Number 1. Okay. First time QUIXIS ever showed up, it was on my whiteboard back in season 1. Okay? Do you guys remember this? When the whiteboard had QUIXIS on it? The whiteboard was a parallel to the town hall board. whatever was written on the town hall board in front of the town hall got written in Quixian on my whiteboard. And was originally how you guys were supposed to figure out the Quixian alphabet, was through whenever something changed on that whiteboard, it changed over there. That's what that was. Okay? The other so important thing that you guys never directly figured out, my desk is my bed. My desk is my bed. Okay? You know how every Sherbert has to wake up in their bed? In my entire life, as a streamer on Fable, there are only 2 times that I ever started stream somewhere that wasn't my desk. The first time was on the portal making stream in season 2 with Ray and Athena. My computer was broken. I had to stream on Centros's computer in the kitchen. In that VOD, Icarus wakes up in their kitchen. They woke up in their kitchen. The second time the desk ever moved was when I moved houses. The first Fable stream in this house was the stream where the duplicate of Icarus's house showed up in season 2. The duplicate house that was an exact replica of the house moved, and that's where Icarus woke up. Because I was in a new house. And I've never seen you guys talk about that. I was so proud of that when it happened. And fun fact about that house, by the way, it is the exact opposite X and Y coordinates. I don't remember exactly what my my house was at in season 2, but let's say it's like 200, 300. The duplicate house was at 200, negative 300. It was the opposite positive and negative of the chords exactly. As compared to 0, 0. Which I don't think you guys ever figured out specifically. But yeah, I always have to be at my desk. And that's why whenever a Sherbert falls asleep in a different place, they show up back at their bed. Because they have to start at where the desk is in relationship. And that caused some quirky glitches to happen. So yeah. That was one thing that I never saw you guys talk about too much. There's one thing that I want to talk about that slightly needs to be formally retconned. We have been really, really good about kind of knowing what we were going to do from the beginning of Fable. But there was one thing that was not clear. And that is this guy. This is the Two Birds CMV. There's something wrong with this picture. That is a purple eye, and there is no blood. That shouldn't be like that. There absolutely, wherever there is a purple eye, there should be blood, and I want to formally point this out. The reason that we didn't give Sherbert 2 yellow eyes, like they should have, was because we didn't want you guys to realize that they were Fable's kid. At this point in the timeline, where this CMV takes place, when they are young brothers, that should be 2 yellow eyes. Absolutely, that should be 2 yellow eyes. We just didn't want you guys to know that they were Fable's kid. So I was like, let's just not do eye blood. So that they get that, like, this is a different time before the art started bleeding, but I don't want it to be yellow yet because they don't know that. So that's why this is like this, and I wanted to point that out because it's the only thing that ever was wrong. It's the only thing that ever was wrong that we've ever put out. Yeah, and I wanted to formally say that. The only other thing that I never saw you guys talk about, you guys caught a lot of the things I was putting down, but one of the things that I did that you guys didn't notice was the orange dimension. The orange dimension is Portal. It wasn't always Portal. To put it simply, it wasn't always Portal. There was another world that was meant to be orange. And and it happened to be the Dream SMP. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is Syndicate. Sherbert is in the Syndicate CMV. This Sherbert has an orange eye. In this, that's not a yellow contact, that's an orange contact, an orange makeup. And it was just subtle enough that I got to go back on it without anyone knowing. So when this is happening, this is like theoretically in the canon the version of Sherbert that would have been like in the Dream SMP was orange. But eventually I went back on that and it was just not caught enough that I could. And orange Sherbert is now Portal. But that's a silly that I wanted to tell you guys about. That's a very silly that I wanted to tell you guys about. Because that was part of the process. The other thing that I will note, chat, is you guys did catch this, but my VODs channel has been telling you the answers for a really long time. That's orange Sherbert outside the 12. Yeah, that's a different orange Sherbert. My VODs have been hinting so much. And it's just the colors. So this is my VODs. And let's go to, what's an easy one? Let's go to Myrrh. What color is with the yellow? Lime? Huh, wow. Among Us, what color is with the yellow? Green? Oh. Potioncraft, what color's with the yellow? Red? Bed Wars? What color's with that? Magenta? What? Hardcore? Where's hardcore? What color's with that? It's inverted. It's purple. It's purple. And IRL?
It's crafting time.
Brown. And this is true on every VOD. And stuff like this where it's Haley, it's a different convention. Because it's meant to be not outside, it's meant to be outside of the Sherbverse. It's the same with Bacilli. Bacilli is not canon, specifically, to the Sherbverse. So it completely breaks out of the color convention that is used in every other VOD intro. This is years, chat. This is years of VODs have been this way. You get every single IRL VOD has had brown behind it. The only single exception to this, where's like the Raft VODs? Let me get to Raft. Hold on. Oh, the Charles stream? Different color convention. On purpose. Where's you can go to pretty much any VOD and this will be true. The only exception is Potioncraft. Because at the start of when I was playing Potioncraft, I hadn't decided Potioncraft was red. I didn't know Potioncraft was going to be the red dimension. I still thought it was brown at this point. That is the only one that is wrong, because I changed my mind about Potioncraft. Every single VOD, the break VODs, every single VOD is like that. And Portal. Whoa, look at that, it's orange! Same with Craft. Here's Craft. Craft has dark blue. MCCI has cyan. And then Raft. Blue! And you get it specifically by blue. Look at that, chat. That's something that's been, it's a small detail, but it's something that I absolutely did on purpose for a really long time. So yeah, I got another hydrate. I thought people knew this. You guys did. You guys caught up on this. I remember when you guys realized. You were like, oh my god, we're so stupid. Can I ask what was up with MCC Rising Sherb? Yes, you can. MCC Rising. So MCC Island. That's Kane. Right? That's Kane. If I were to get into MCC, what would MCC qualify as? What kind of server would MCC qualify as? An event. The Sherbert you see in the MCC Rising application video is Ajax. So there is Pink Eye and Yellow Bleeding Eye. It just so happens that it was filmed on a server that looks a lot like Fable. But with how event works, that's not out of the question. I want to go through and talk about a lot of the Sherbs. But the one I will talk about, because it's the most interesting to me, is events. And you guys have gotten this lore in EOD with Ajax. But event, the world of events, is they live event to event. There is no house in between. They are waking up, doing an event, going to sleep, and then they wake up immediately in the next event having no idea how much time has passed. They live fight to fight, challenge to challenge, and that is how the pink dimension works. And it's why Ajax is how they is about EOD, because they're like, oh my god, wait, I'm staying here, I get to build a house, I've never gotten this before. Let's also, I'll touch on, multiplayer server Sherb. Hypixel Sherb. Hypixel Sherb is an odd one, because there are two different bleeding eye colors. On Hypixel, there is a magenta eye and a bleeding yellow eye. And on Tubnet, there was a bleeding purple eye and a magenta eye. One of the things that has always been true about the Sherbs is that they're not meant to cross great dimensional portals. Icarus was always pulled to the Worldport when they were being pulled across dimensions. The Nether was close, so it didn't happen when he went to the Nether. But when they go to an end, which is a big jump from the overworld to the end, or from the overworld to Purgatory, we see the Worldport. And when Hypixel Sherb goes through the multiplayer server portals, goes from Hypixel to Tubnet, that's a big dimensional jump. And they're eye glitches. It's just something that happens. That changing was the hint that I was trying to give you guys, that's why we saw the Worldport when we did. It's when there's big dimensional jumps is when people see the Worldport. And also the only person who ever saw the Worldport was Icarus, because they are next. They were the only one who saw it. Which I think is neat. Okay. Let's talk about one more thing. Who's been to Worldport most? Technically Rio. And Rio used to be the last QUIXIS before Midas. I love Hypixel Sherb. And you know how all the Sherbs are alone? You know that thing that they all are? Where they're all like notably have a trope of loneliness? Rio is the most okay with it. And you can see that in the Hypixel stream. He is the most okay with being alone because he just finished being QUIXIS and is used to it. All the other Sherbs are like, yeah, I'm alone and I'm kind of angsty about it. Rio's like, I'm alone and I'm totally used to it. Because he was literally just QUIXIS. Chat, there's one more thing I want to show you. Alright. Let's talk origins. Let's talk origins of the Sherbverse. Chat, this is my sketchbook. Back when I was first being a streamer, and I came up with my lore. It was Odyssey SMP first, and I knew I was going to be doing Fable. But Odyssey SMP was the first server I ever had lore on. And I knew that the original concept for the Sherbverse was that basically half of a Sherb got put into a different Sherb. It was just going to be purple and yellow, and they were just going to switch halves. And that was going to mess up both of them from being able to do anything right, because they weren't who they were supposed to be. And this is the original concept art that I ever drew about the differences between the Sherbs. And you can see the origins of the Trident here, and how when put together they make Sherb. I don't know why they're that long, but they are. And I'll read out some of the notes. This was my original list of things that QUIXIS could change, which was things disappear, things reappear, things swap places, things change materials, glitching, unnatural structures, and either space is changed or, and then specifically I have in brackets, space is changed, time is not. Kind of got retconned a little bit, but that was my original notes. This was my original concept page for the Sherbs. And it came from listening to Under Your Skin. How much can you fit under your skin? I can fit 2 people under my skin. That was the original inspiration for Sherbert. Was absolutely that song. I listened to it and I said, I have an idea of what if there were 2 people and that caused some problems. It wasn't until the end of season 1 that I realized I wanted QUIXIS to be a person. Originally, it was just going to be something that happened, like a glitch that happened. And at the end of season 1, I realized that it made sense if some entity was changing it. And that's when I came up with QUIXIS. It wasn't until the end of season 1 was when I decided that it was going to be a person. And then shortly after that, I kind of developed the idea of QUIXIS some more, and the idea of having to ascend to fix things. But the original version was just 2 people, personalities kind of all mushed around and mushed wrong, and they were gonna have to figure out how to fix it. And then I decided I wanted it to be a person, and then I started developing all the other Sherbs. And that's like the actual origin of the Sherbverse and how I got to where I got with it. A big part of it was actually listening to Show Yourself, oddly enough, from Frozen 2. That gave me a lot of thoughts and ideas about how I wanted QUIXIS to be as a character. And chat, you guys want to see some art that I've never been able to show you before? I've never been able to show you before? Do you guys want to see some art that you've never seen? Can you work? Alright, chat. I've done a lot of art of QUIXIS, and I could not show it to you. And I'm going to show you them in order of, the order that I drew them. So, first things first, you get, where's the like original QUIXIS art? Where are you? Are you in canon? You are canon, but I don't think I put you in this folder. Are you in Ick Has Feelings? No. Fable. You're gonna be in Fable. Alright, this was the original art of QUIXIS that I did. Yes, they still got the converse. So the bit is, the longer time that you spend in the Worldport, the more color gets drained from you. So the reason Icarus looks like they do is because slowly over time, they're losing the color from their stuff. But this was the original QUIXIS art. And then here is the thoughts of how it starts versus what it turns into. Is that when Midas had white hair? Yep. Icarus is going to have white hair too, the longer they spend there. And you can see the little bit of the symbol changing that I had planned out. So this was some concept art, and then I also have this art, which is a little bit more up to date of what the vibe is. This one I decided I wanted to have wing ears. But one of the things was always that Birdie, yeah. One of the things was always that each QUIXIS had a defining characteristic. And Icarus's was always going to be the prison scar. Of where if you put all the QUIXIS's in a line, they'd all look the same. They'd all look like Sherbert. They'd all be whited out. Their eyes would be different colors, and they all have one or two different characteristics. And Icarus's was always going to be the scar and the bird ears. And that was set for a long time. And then I have the official Icarus art that I put out there, which is this guy. I didn't do the back of him yet. But this is the officialist, up-to-date version of what Icarus looks like. And you can see that they keep their scars. They got the hand scars, they got the lightning, they got the prison scar, and their hair is turning to white, and they've got these glowing little ears that I couldn't do justice in the cosplay. But you can see they have their whole fit. The armor that they wear, it went with them. It just whited out. And you know, you just can't stop that Converse grind. So this is the most official art of Icarus. Plus goggles. I didn't put the goggles here, but I like the goggles a lot actually. But yeah, I just think it's neat. Did I have any other arts that I wanted to show you guys that I didn't get to show you before? No, do you guys want to see little? Not that. Huge thoughts about this little guy. Huge thoughts about this little prince guy, by the way. Big old thoughts. This was just for me. Little baby in a little war uniform. Little baby in a little war uniform. Little bird boy. Little baby. Little baby guys. Alright. I think the last thing that I want to talk about directly, chat, I have a lot more to say, but it's been 2.5 hours. I will say one more thing before I talk about this last bit that I want to say. Midas clearly didn't go back to the world. Midas clearly did not die in this. As you can see, that doesn't look very dead. You can also see that Midas, now that they're not QUIXIS, their hair went back to normal. Hair is not white anymore when they went back. Kept the jacket though. Kept the drip. But the hair changed, and Midas has gray eyes. You can't see as well right here, but Midas is somewhere. Where that is one of the few things that you guys have to wait and see. One of the few things that you guys might be getting some more lore on. Because you are not done with seeing Midas. Midas is going to be around. Wherever they might be. Who's to say? That's the little open-ended things. I have some fun stuff planned. I have a big project that I'm working on that I might have talked about. If you know what the project is, don't say anything about it. But leading up to that, I have some stuff planned for Midas's lore. And you guys will have to see how all of the other Sherberts react to their eyes being back. One of the things that I do want to talk about is before we go into like the final thing, is the scale. You guys know the scale that I've talked about before? There are a few aspects that make up a Sherb. There are a few character traits that are present in every single Sherb. Number 1 is denial. Different Sherbs have different levels of how much they deny what they see. The second is asshole. The second is how much of a little are you? And I will tell you the furthest on the asshole scale is Cain. Cain is the furthest on that scale. If you were to make a... Yeah, and crit is the furthest. Crit is the furthest on not. And hardcore Sherb is the furthest on denial. Hardcore Sherb is willing to listen, unlike a lot of other Sherberts. But those are the two scales. And I think you could point every Sherb on a scale on how much of a little asshole they are and how much they deny everything they see. And this transitions really well into the last thing that I want to talk about, which is something that you guys have pointed out that I've noticed. The Sherbverse is a X and Y axis. The Sherbverse is absolutely a metaphor. Some of you guys out there have theorized that the Sherbverse is a system. The way that it works is a system. Hello.
Hello? Are you still streaming?
I'm still going. I'm on the last bit right now. I'm on the last bit right now.
Yes, Quies.
I've talked about so much. Oh. It is not. I will say directly. The Sherbverse is not a system. They are not meant to be representation of what it is like to be a system and that kind of thing. But they are a metaphor. If you look at certain things in the Sherbverse and run them parallel to different aspects of what it's like to be a system, it is absolutely intentional. I've talked about this. I am a system. I don't talk about it a lot on stream, but it is. And it's something that I have dealt with over a really, really long period of time. And I'm in a good enough place that I feel like I am fairly knowledgeable about it. I've gone through 5+ years of therapy, a couple different like proper institutions, and I'm in a good enough place mentally that I've been genuinely really happy and satisfied with how my brain is and how my life is right now. And I know that a lot of people in my community are systems. And I know that I have helped a lot of people find that realization, and I think that's really freaking cool, especially some of my friends who are systems found out because I was open to talking about it, both on this and TikTok. And the Sherbverse is not direct representation, but it is a metaphor. You can absolutely look as QUIXIS as a organizer in your system, or a host, someone who is in charge of like a gatekeeper, someone who's in charge of who is out at a time and has all that pressure on them. And the story of Icarus is somewhat meant to represent a host change, and the idea that roles like that can be passed around between people, something that I have dealt with recently, not very recently, but just over my time of being a system. We've had several host changes, and it's something that's very scary for a lot of systems. The bit of only one Sherbert being kind of active at a time is absolutely meant to act like the front. It's not what's happening. It's not one person with different alters, but that is what it's meant to represent, is a different person at the front. Haley got me chicken nuggets. And the memory gaps in between them, which a lot of systems have, of not being able to remember or even aware that there are other people in your head. And that's where the denial comes in, which is a really big part of every single system that I know has dealt with being afraid that what's happening to them isn't real. And almost every single Sherb is in denial of other universes and other things, and slowly over time comes to realize that they are out there and they are meant to help each other. And that is absolutely meant to represent a system, and realizing what's going on, and alter-to-alter communication, though it may be rough, and that kind of thing. And then you also have the fact that all of the Sherbs are different facets of the same core personality. They are all different moods and tones and personalities made up of the same bits. They're the same bits. There's a list of things that make a Sherb, and that is consistent across all of them. They're meant to be like the same person, but a different way that person might be based on what they know and what they experience. And it's never something that I wanted to say directly, but I wanted it to be something that people could recognize if they are aware of that kind of thing, and say, hey, this is really cool. I think there's a really, really good lesson to be learned about how the Sherbverse works and how it's portrayed that I think can help people out there who probably need it. And yeah, to any systems in the chat or any systems who are my fans, I think you guys are so cool, and I'm so happy that you found a place that you feel comfortable to be yourself, because it took me a long time to find the people in my life that I was comfortable being around. And if I can be that for you, and my community can do that for you, then that is all that I want. And I figured, why not use this massive storytelling plan that I have to show that. Yeah, was that all my points specifically on the system stuff? Yeah, switching hosts, same traits, denial. Yeah, that was those were my main points on that I had written. But I will say directly, it is not a system. That is not what's happening to like Icarus. Icarus is not all of the Sherbs at once. That's not what's happening. It's just meant to represent that. Oh yeah. I'm glad I could help you guys out. And that's a lot of the Sherbverse. From this point on, chat, you guys are going to be getting a oodles of Sherbverse content. Other side, the portion of my finale cutscene is going to be uploaded on my main channel, as well as one full CMV and 2 mini CMVs that are going to be coming out on my channel, as well as some more stuff on Fable. You guys can finally get the tagging all the Sherbs as D&D classes, and you guys are going to get me being able to draw QUIXIS as one of the Sherbs, as Midas. I have a whole bunch of stuff coming in that regard. There might be some merch soon, who's to say. I'll let you know more on that when I have more thoughts on it specifically. But, D&D Sherbs, I know! And the last thing that I want to talk about is, Fable. I didn't get to... I had to end stream all ominously after the finale, because, yeah. And I put a little blurb in my Discord about how thankful I am to all of you guys. And I will get sappy now just for a little bit. You guys have done something that I never thought was possible. After the finale, the whole cast was in VC for like another hour, just being sappy with each other about Fable as an experience, and by no means is this the end of this group of friends telling stories. There are plenty of servers already out there, as well as many, many other things. We are all really close friends on the server, and you guys will be seeing more of us, but the fact that a silly little Minecraft server that I made with some of my IRL friends has evolved into what it has as a storytelling platform is insane, and that is entirely because of you guys. I said to the cast the other day that if there were no fans on Fable and I still made it as it is, I would be just as happy from the story I told. And the fact that there is a whole fan base out there making content and enjoying it and theorizing it while it was happening made it so much more than I ever thought was possible. And it has inspired me and so much of the rest of the cast to make stuff creatively. A lot of people were feeling burnout, either as an artist or as a writer, and Fable gave a place for people to tell those stories freely and integrate them into this massive place, and people got to make so much art and get so many people involved and get to have these amazing experiences with each other. And that is because of this server. And I can't wait for more stuff to come out, either from Fable and other stuff from this cast in the future, but I cannot thank you guys enough for letting me make this as my job. It's crazy. My entire life path changed so drastically becoming a content creator. It's not anything I ever thought that I would do realistically. You never do. You never think you're going to be a content creator when you do. And the fact that you guys are still here 3 years later and have grown so much more is astounding. And I am so happy that I was able to create something that you all enjoyed, because for some of you, this is your first fandom on the internet. This is your first thing that you've really been involved with as a fan, and that is crazy for me to think that you, years from now, are going to be talking about this server and how it was your first experience with the internet, and talking to creators, and it inspired me to start cosplaying and to start telling stories of my own and to make CMVs and that kind of thing. And that is crazy to think that I have been such a part of your life, because you guys have been so much of mine. And believe me, I'm not going to shut up about Fable now that it's done. Believe me, I've got so much more to say about the Sherbverse. I have so many little details about all the Sherbs. I have so many headcanons that I can say directly now without having to be like, why would Rena know that about Among Us Sherb? I can say it all now, and I can tell you all the behind-the-scenes stuff about how lore was planned and all of this stuff. I'm never going to shut up about this. The Fable server's staying up. I know I'm going to be active there. My server's staying up. After this chat, I'm actually going to make a new set of chats in my Discord. That is Sherbverse centric, specifically a place where you can drop headcanons for different Sherbs, arts of different Sherbs, specifically a Sherbverse section, because the one chat it's got in my Discord right now is not doing it justice. Yeah, the streams may be over, but we're not done. And chat, I didn't even talk about Ven. Ven's epilogue is going to be coming out on YouTube, chat, sometime soon, and yeah, it might have something to do with that ending. But that's something for Ven to talk about, not me. Let's keep your theories going on that one for now, on what might have happened to that guy, but yeah, the story may be over, but we're not done. Hi, Ven. Also, Wetbirds was so on accident, chat. It was so on accident, but like, why were they that synergistic? You know what I mean? Why were they that bad? Like, Wetbirds was so spontaneous every single time. Like in the finale when they're like, we killed Fable, now we get to be gay. Ven and I looking at each other, not scripted. We both on our own account said, all right, let's give it to him. And that made me cackle, dude. The fact that both of us looked at each other and were like, not planned, not planned. Ven and I just couldn't stop. But no, chat, I love reading you guys about it on Fable Tumblr. Oh, and I can say this now officially too. If you guys want to talk about the Sherbverse, I know some of you guys have caught it already, but feel free to use the hashtag either Sherbverse or SQCU, the Sherbert Quake Cinematic Universe. I have been using hashtag SQCU on every post I've made about another Sherbert, both on TikTok and on Tumblr. So if you guys want to talk about that, feel free to use that. That is the official name for it, the Sherbverse / the Sherbert Quake Cinematic Universe, the SQCU. Yeah, chat. And I've got so many more things to share with you sub-goal wise. But I'm gonna make some commands to the QUIXIS playlist and the character Sherbert playlist. They're both public on my YouTube. Thank you all for watching. And this is where we're gonna end the stream for today, gamers. If you haven't gone and watched everybody's POV of the finale, please go do that. Everybody put so much work into their epilogues, and there's so much art that the people have made, and just so much stuff that people made. And if you haven't seen it, you've only seen mine, please go watch it. Please go watch it. Everyone put so much effort into their own ending, and I am so proud of myself and every single person in the cast who has grown over these years. So